Hey guys, Bix Weir, road-to-road.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of decaffeinated tea. End of the second week of the cleanse. One more week. Woohoo! All right. Today is a very special day, January 19th. Martin Armstrong, brilliant guy. I don't know. It's hard to even describe how brilliant he is, but I think he's highly connected with the people behind the scenes. But he has an economic confidence model that he's published for years, and it stays the same today. Today and yesterday, right? This exact time is a turning point in the economic confidence model. 2020.05, which is January 18th and 19th, right here, right now. Now, what do these do? It usually changes the confidence of the economic system. Something happens. It's been everything from the stock market crashing to stock market going up to the illegal immigration problems in Europe, and everything. You can look back and Martin can nail down what it was. Now, given right now that we're at all-time bubble highs in so many different things, I would tend to lean towards a stock market crash this coming week. Or a bond crash this coming week. Anything could happen, really. Anything. But let's take a look at the stock market. Now, if you follow the road to Ruta, you know it's rigged. Every day, every trade. It's rigged. They don't own the shares they say they own. This is what Veritasium was going to fix. The rehypothecation of shares behind the scenes. A capital transfer mechanism that is true and honest, that the SEC shut down. Maybe. If you guys saw my video yesterday, no, I'm not selling my Veritasium. If this law firm that the court has hired to compensate victims, which is really unique because they don't have the Veri. They have all of Reggie's Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they don't have the Veri. The Veri is held. It is frozen at the SEC, but the Bitcoin and Ethereum are being transferred over to this law firm who's going to compensate victims. I am not. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to sell my Veri, even if they offer me a lot of money. I think Veritasium is a solution to the problem of rehypothecation of assets. That's my take, and it always has been my take. And in Cliff High's data, it had Veritasium going 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. Now, how could that happen? If it was Reggie holding it, they probably couldn't get there. If the U.S. government holds Veritasium, which they do right now, 98 million Veri tokens out of 100, that could happen. If we do have a crash, a mega crash, and they want to fix the problem, implement Veritasium, peer-to-peer capital transactions. Stranger things have happened. Is it a long shot? Hell yes. Hell yes. And you've probably already lost so much on your Veri investment anyway that, hey, the long shot is the only thing that will save you. But if it is true, and it does happen that way, that Veritasium does come and save a system after the crash, you're going to want to hold on to that Veri. So at the Road to Ruta, I give away one Veritasium token with every subscription. I think it's that important. So I'm going to have more on this for the private road people, but that's why I'm not selling my Veri, even though the U.S. government said, you're a phony, you're a fraud. And the two decisions came out at the exact same time. The EOS Block 1, which was a real fraud, $4 billion fraud, and they tapped them tiny little fine. Oh, you guys you're fine, go ahead. And Veritasium, which was truth and honesty, lived up to the name, and they destroyed Reggie Middleton. I mean, literally destroyed him. Maybe, unless there's a deal going on behind it. I don't know, but I'm not going to sell my Veri, even if it goes to zero forever. It was the right choice, the right coin to fix the problem at the right time. And no, I'm not going to sell my Very. You guys do what you want. Yes, of course it's a long shot. Cliff's data is a huge long shot. All these psychics saying, hey, something else is going on, long shot. But at this point with Very, the only thing that, the only way to get you out of it is the long shot. So we'll see what happens. But it would require, one, that the government hold the Very, which they do now, at least 98% of them. And they not. If you read the final settlement, the Bitcoin and the Ethereum are being transferred to this law firm, not the Veritasium. So the Veritasium won't be sold into the market at this law firm. Of course, it can't be sold into the market. It would make the price go to zero instantly. But there's a reason, I believe, that the government is holding on to the Very, and they're selling the Bitcoin at Ethereum. And nobody knows how much it is. That's the other thing. If Reggie signed this deal, Reggie's crazy. And Reggie's not a crazy man. The deal was, you pay us all this money, it was $8 million, and you give us all the Veritasium tokens, and you give us all your Bitcoin and Ethereum and all your assets. They destroyed him from top to bottom. And you line up someone like Reggie and Veritasium with the EOS criminals and the Block 1 criminals. Block 1. EOS is fine. It's out there. It's a software now. I'm not investing in it. It's centralized. But you line those two up, and you're the SEC, and you're looking for fraud and criminality. You're trying to protect the people. They got it backwards. They should have taken everything from the people at Block 1 and said, Reggie, come save us from this criminal system. But anyway, that would take two things: a crash in the market, and the good guys to take over and say, hey, we can't have this rehypothecated derivative system anymore. We need peer-to-peer capital transactions. Meaning, you have a share of stock, I want to buy that share of stock, bang, put it in a Very contract, or put the Very contracts at the Dow Jones like they were going to do in the Jamaican stock exchange before the SEC shut that down behind us. A lot of this stuff is relying on the good guys. And right now, it's nowhere to be seen. But that whole system of the Block 1 result versus the Veritasium result, night and day, completely reversed. So I'm not going to sell my Very. Probably won't buy any more, but I'm not going to sell it. We're going to see what happens. All right, so the Dow Jones. Martin Armstrong, he's not saying there's going to be a crash, but it's potential. The Dow hasn't hit its peak for this move up. I think the peak would be 32,000, but 30,000 round number, that people probably are going to say, oh shit, I've done well. Smart people be getting out at 30,000. I think it hits 30,000 on Monday or Tuesday, and then we see a couple big guys start to get out, and all of a sudden everything, it goes no bid. So it'll be saved at some point because the computers and derivatives that the Fed controls, the Exchange Stabilization Fund, will kick in. But really interesting timing as far as Martin Armstrong's economic confidence model that has this date right here, 2020, today and tomorrow, as a turning point. So what else could it be? Dun, dun, dun. We're ready to fight. Thousands expected at massive gun rally at Virginia Capitol. You don't try to take away American guns. The Democrats sit in their ivory towers, clinging onto their quadrisexuals and their the reality of what is going on with the Democratic Party going so far crazy left, trying to destroy our country, led by George Soros is leading them. They all have those bull rings in their nose, and George Soros is leading them all that way. It's bad news. So some really interesting things are happening right now. The liberals were galvanized around Trump winning the election and their queen, the evil queen, Hillary Clinton, not getting it. Well, he cheated, but bullshit. I do think Trump cheated, but Clinton cheated a hell of a lot worse. The good guys just were in charge of the last click of the mouse in the voting machines. Who knows who would win a true and fair election? And then you watch Hillary Clinton cheating in the debates. Oh my God, the debate where she had all the answers being fed to her when she's behind the podium. Go check that out on YouTube. They're like, they had some kind of device that was feeding her the answers. And she'd look down at her paper and get the answer and come up and talk. And then right after the debate, the guy ran over and pulled the little box out from under the podium. Oh, that was crazy stuff. That's why Trump kept walking around her and wandering around her. She's got listening devices in her ear, people feeding her answers. I don't even think she's around anymore, by the way. There is a conspiracy theory that the Democrats will be so screwed up by the time the convention hits that Hillary Clinton will come out of the shadows and say, I'm going to save the party, and everybody's going to unite around Hillary because everything else got screwed up. That's the conspiracy. I don't even think Hillary's alive, but they could fake it. They could fake it. They faked a lot of things. All her rallies. Oh, yeah, we got this huge rally, and the CGI going bad. And it's like, shit, wait, half the audience just disappeared. It's, ugh. I kind of forgot about all that crazy debate stuff and the rallies of Clinton because Trump won. And you kind of forget about all the strangeness that was going on. But, okay, so the Democrats who control the Virginia politics are trying to ban guns. And this is an interesting time. So all the Democrats were united to action behind Hillary Clinton, and then the Antifa and all that stuff, right? They're going militant. That's where Antifa was born, and we all know George Soros funded it and started up. The bad guy started up. I think this will be the startup of the what do you call them? Nationalists, maybe the freedom fighters, the gun-loving people are going to stand up and say, "We've had enough. End it, or we'll end it for you." Could be a revolution. I don't even know. But this happening on 2020.05, because this has the power to disrupt everything. Antifa, yeah, go around in your black little outfits and break banks' windows and pull off Trump hats. When you get gun owners all pissed off for good reason, which they have good reason, that's a different game. That's revolution. It'd be so easy to spark a chaotic confrontation at this thing. So easy. With all the guns that'll be there, all the gun holders that'll be there, all the Antifa people that'll probably show up, all the crazy Democrats that'll show up. George Soros is probably planting a whole bunch of people in there to go crazy. It's going to get ugly in Virginia. I hear the lawmakers are in a safe house. Right here. As various pro-gun groups prepare to gather at Virginia's state capitol in Richmond on Monday, in what is expected to be one of the largest pro-gun rallies in recent memory, Democratic Governor Ralph Northam has declared a state of emergency. Police are busy setting up barricades and temporary holding pens. And one lawmaker has even arranged to spend most of the day in a safe house, according to the Washington Examiner. The rally is expected to draw tens of thousands, and fears about Charlotte-style violence are prompting police to scour the web for any signs of a violent plot. Already, the FBI has arrested 3 members of a violent white supremacist group. Well, the media is going to be saying, "Oh my God, this is the new Charlotte." Watch CNN, watch MSNBC, watch ABC, and all the lefty liberal media. This is a huge turning point, because if this goes crazy and the Dow's at all-time highs, good night Dow. Good night stock market. This could be the pin that pricks the bubble. As Republicans battle for the hearts and minds of the people against a state government that is unilaterally controlled by Democrats, Todd Gilbert, Virginia's House Republican leader, warned on Saturday that white supremacist groups trying to spread hate, violence, or civil unrest would not be welcome at the pro-gun rally in the state's capital on Monday. Any group that comes to Richmond to spread white supremacist garbage or any other form of hate, violence, or civil unrest isn't welcome here. So you can't stop them. This is America. Free speech. They can say whatever they want. While we and our Democratic colleagues have differences, we're all Virginians, and we stand united in opposition to any threats of violence or civil unrest from any quarter. Well, good luck. Good luck, Virginia. It's your fault. I'm just going to say that. It's your fault. The people running Virginia, it's your fault. You don't mess with people's right to bear arms, right to protect themselves. And the ultimate protection is not from other people. The ultimate protection, the reason we have guns in America, is to protect ourselves from the government. That is the ultimate reason to own guns, to protect yourself from the government. Organized by Virginia Citizens Defense League, a group that annually lobbies the state legislature against new gun control laws, this year's rally is simply a much larger manifestation of the group's annual Guns Right rally at the Capitol. As Democrats who control the state plot a slew of new gun control measures in the state that has historically been more permissive about guns, Virginia has transformed into ground zero into the fight over gun rights in America. Already gun owners across the state have been scrambling to buy up as many guns as they can before the new legislation takes effect, fostering a boom among gun sellers. That is, I'm telling you right now, I think all the not all of them, but most of the school shootings and all that stuff is a plot to get guns in the hands of Americans. Because the only thing that happens when Democrats, something like a school shooting happens or something, and Democrats get up and say, we got to take the guns. The only thing that happens is gun sales go through the roof because they think they're going to confiscate guns. There are so many guns out there. And again, guns are not to protect. Yeah, they're great for hunting and that type of stuff. Target shooting. They're better for protection of your home. If the marauding masses start coming up the streets in Oakland, I got protection. Like the Rodney King riots. That's when I flipped on gun ownership in the house. At the end of the day, you're going to be the one responsible for protecting your friends and family. And the only way to do it when the other side is armed is to be armed. But the ultimate reason to have guns is to protect yourself from your government. They confiscated guns in Germany. Although some people have dug deeper into that and say, it was not quite that simple. It was more complicated. But in reality, I would rather trust myself than any form of government. Any form of government says, no, you're not allowed to protect yourself. This is what's going to happen. And it might be happening on purpose. So imagine the false flags that the Democrats are going to try to set off within this mass of people holding guns. It's going to be an ugly day. I have no doubt in my mind. It's so easy to light a match in a tinderbox and watch the flames go up. And the Democrats are desperate. So keep an eye on that. The tension even prompted, as Democrats control the state government, a slew of gun control measures in the state that has historically been more permissive about gun rights. Virginia has transformed into ground zero for the fight over guns for America. Already, gun owners across have been scrambling to buy up as many guns as they can before the legislation takes effect. The tension even prompted President Trump to weigh in with a tweet on Friday, quote, "That's what happens when you vote for Democrats. They will take away your guns." Can you imagine what CNN's going to be saying about that? It was all Trump's fault. He incited the riots. Trump's tweet, "Your Second Amendment is under serious attack in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. That's what happens when you vote for Democrats. They'll take your guns away. Republicans win Virginia in 2020. Thank you, Dems." One NRA member approached by the Washington Examiner reporter while rallying outside a legislative building earlier this week said, "Gun right advocates in the state won't stand by idly while their rights are stripped away." And this is a quote, "We're not going to be quiet anymore." So there's your new right side Antifa. We're not going to be quiet anymore. We're going to fight them in the courts and on the ground. The illegal laws they're proposing are just straight up unconstitutional, said Timothy Foster of Chesterfield, Virginia, an NRA member who had one handgun strapped to his shoulder and another tucked into a waistband as he stood outside a legislative building earlier this week. VCDL President Philip Van Cleve said he's heard from groups around the country that plan to send members to Virginia, including the Nevada-based far-right Oath Keepers, which has promised to organize and train armed posses and militia. We're going to need it. The United States, it's hard to see. It's hard to see how this country is going to hold together. And it might not be a bad thing that we split apart. It might not be a bad thing. I don't know yet. The problem right now is that the Trump administration and the good guys are the problem. Why? Because they're not telling the truth. Expose the criminals. Expose the truth. Tell us everything. Everything. Don't hold back. The pedophilia. The criminality on Wall Street. The poisoning of our food and our air. Tell us everything, or you're going to get something like this. That the country is going to be ripped apart. We're being ripped apart not because we don't love America. We're being ripped apart because we're being lied to by both sides. In the lies. We're big boys. Tell us about the aliens. Tell us why you really set up a space program, Trump. That's what's ripping our country apart, the lack of honesty. While the rally has attracted a substantial amount of media attention, Virginia's gun right activists have identified another strategy to try to subvert the legislators' authority, as the New York Times reports. Gun control activists, blah, 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 blah. All right. So we've got a turning point. We've got bubbles everywhere, and we've got potential for mass chaos. Gun holders versus Antifa versus the Democratic government versus the government. You know, it is a cinder block, and today a match is being thrown in the middle of that. Who knows what's going to happen? With thousands or tens of thousands of gun owners sitting there, gun holders sitting there, and one George Soros crazy nut gets thrown in the middle of that. I don't know. It's not going to end well because the Democrats think they're going to do better if this goes poorly. So I have no doubt there's going to be mass chaos. And this is going to be the spark of something big. On the final note, Veritasium seems to be surviving the death crash of the latest tweet by Reggie that said, "Hey, they took my 98 million Veritasium tokens." I don't know, something else is going on, I think. But hey, it's a gamble. If you want to go buy Veri tokens, they're in Fork Delta and Mercatox, I think. Just be careful out there. If you're gonna buy tokens, use throwaway money. Expect to get zero throwaway money. And check out where the volumes are, and make sure you can get the coins off. Like Mercatox will go under maintenance all the time with Veritasium, and we know there's only 2 million coins out there. So be careful. Fork Delta as well. If you're going to sell, yeah, go for it. If you don't want to deal with the reality, it's probably going to go to zero. Probably will. But I think there's something more going on behind the scenes. But who knows? And who knows how long it would take. It is clear that the U.S. government has seized Veritasium. It is not clear who owns the Veritasium. 98 million coins are in the possession of the U.S. government. They are not, and let me quote, I'm going to be very clear about this, they are not handing them over to the law firm who is handling the Fair Fund, as they call it, which is something that came out of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act to compensate people for fraud. They are not being handed over. They are being frozen. Maybe I will buy more Veri. It's Bix Weir, roadtoro.com. Talk to you guys later.
Well, I grew up in the USA. I was taught that speech was free. Birmingham to Burning Man, you can speak any truth you see. Lately things have changed, they say I can't speak truth no more. And I'm just sitting here wondering who they are working for. See, they're gonna kick me off of YouTube, unless I say 9/11's just another day. And they delete my friends on Facebook, unless I pretend that socialism's A-okay. And they are gonna shadow ban my Twitter, unless I tweet the chemtrails of Perrier. Finally they'll ban everything I've got to say, as they kill free speech in the USA. They decide what's right, they decide what's wrong, they ban what won't conform. They sit in shadows, they run the gallows, say I must abide the norm. Without free speech we lose freedom, they cut off our free will. If I find truth that they don't like, they'll label me a shill. And then they're gonna kick me off of YouTube, unless I say 9/11's just another day. And they delete my friends on Facebook, unless I pretend that socialism's A-okay. And they are gonna shadow ban my Twitter, unless I tweet the chemtrails of Perrier. Finally they'll ban everything I've got to say, as they kill free speech in the USA. They're trying to kill free speech in the USA. Now wait a minute, it's not like me to give up on a fight. I'll expose their evil plans, bring their shadows into light. And I'll name names, I'll play their games, I've got them in my sight. They're trying to change the USA, I'll fight for what is right, so they can kick me off of YouTube. 9/11's all about building 7 and it ain't okay. And they can delete all my Facebook, but socialists fail every time in every single way. And they can shadow ban my Twitter, but I'm looking up at chemtrail skies each and every day. See, they have no right to ban anything I have to say, and I'll fight for free speech in the USA. I'm gonna fight for free speech in the USA. It's my right, free speech in the USA.